Hi everyone, I'm Luality. I have been playing games like Diablo since I am 4 years old because my father got me into them. I played a lot of Diablo 1, 2, a little bit less of Diablo 3. I'm mostly known for doing a bunch of Souls games on a dance pad and motion controls, weird controllers. But this kind of game, I never created content towards it, but it's something that I always have been playing on my free time. Path of Exile is one of the games that I have played the most on my Steam. So, I have been streaming on Twitch Diablo 4, and I am on a level 66 Necromancer. And so many people have been asking me about the build, so I decided to make this video to go over everything. So let's just start by the skill tree. Bone Splinters, I'm not using any basic skills in this build. I only have 2 points here because I need points here so I can go here. Our attack is Blight. Blight with the modification that your minions deal more damage. I really like this. So your damage has up to a 12% chance to create a corpse at the target's location. It's pretty good. I have not always played exactly with Blight. As I was leveling up, I used a lot of Bone Spear for the vulnerability. In fact, one of the weaknesses of this build is vulnerability of time. Blood Mist is essential because it's your stun break. If you get caught into anything, or if you see that you're going to get caught in something, it's your panic button, so make sure it's a skill that you can easily reach and press. I personally like Blood Mist with Corpse because usually if you are in a situation that you're in panic, that means your minions are dying and there's also other things. So if you have 3 corpses, so this should give you 3 corpses, you can, recreate some minions, you can do a number of things, and that can bring you back and recover from that situation. Also Corpse Explosion with Blight. Skeletal Warrior. This is a Blight minion build mix. This to help the essence of time. Necromancer has a lot of essence problems. The Creepify, because I like to be extra safe. There's also a possibility to swap the Creepify with Corpse Tendrils, especially if you're playing softcore. There is no reason to have the Creepify. You can just go for Corpse Tendrils, because then you have vulnerability of time much better, and you can also put the monsters. But if you're playing hardcore, I would stick to the Creepify. If you decreepify all the monsters and you use Abhorrent Decreepify, you can go and reset the cooldown of Blood Mist pretty fast, because your minions hitting the monsters lowers the cooldown. It counts for the cooldown reduction, so it synergizes pretty well. So you always have your panic button good. I put 3 points into Gloom, 3 points into Reaper's Pursuit, and 1 into the Stun. Reaper's Pursuit, I find that's the skill that a bunch of people might question why. I value movement speed a lot, especially if you're playing hardcore. If you are able to run away from trouble, if you're able to position yourself better, movement speed is what you need. That's why I put 3 points here. That's what I would go to. I wouldn't go lower than that. 3 points on my golem, 3 points on attack speed for my minions, 3 points for extra damage when you're near, and then 2 points here just to help the survivability of the minions, so they take less damage. And if you see that you're facing a monster, the health of your minions are dropping a lot, you make sure to heal them up, especially because there's a bunch of items that you can get that the longer that you keep your minions alive, the more damage they do. And also Shadow Blight. For the Book of the Dead, hands down, Reapers, because you need corpses. Basically, your main skill is Corpse Explosion. That's the skill that you'll be doing damage with. Blight or Bone Spear, depending on your prefer using. I'm also doing some tests with Sewer, but I will talk about this later. So either one of those, it's basically like, if you have positioned yourself well, if you're fighting something that's safe, then you just throw it to help a little bit. But the entire point of this build is that you can still have damage, you have survivability, and you still do damage when you're just focusing on survival, avoiding bosses, attacks, and things like that. Right now, I'm using cold mages for the extra essence because of my weapon. My weapon is a unique item that not everyone might have. And if you do not have it, also, if you also don't have the blizzard modifier for the legendary armor that your mages, cold mages cast blizzard, you should definitely go with shadow mage. If you get some of the items that I will show that I have, definitely the cold mage. I could be using the vulnerability build, but again, I'm more focused on survival, and essence could help me more with that. And I also find annoying when the essence is low. For the golem, you have a few options. The bone golem, if you feel like you need extra corpses. The blood golem, so it absorbs some of a little bit of the damage that you would take. The best thing about the bone golem is that you can taunt enemies, so they attack your golem. So that's good. But this is better for survivability. And if you're wanting to increase your damage, the iron golem is the best one for help you with vulnerability, especially if you're using the creepify instead of tendrils. My Paragon, I'm still testing around with things, but I decided to go with both rare nodes. Most of my damage come from my skeletal mages, so I have skeletal mage damage increase. My skeletal mages, since they stay far in the back, they usually don't get, damaged a lot, so they're fine. So I didn't bother adding extra points than I had to here. I also went for both nodes here for the armor, intelligence, and damage. Then I attached the minion board in this position. I went for minion damage, and then straight up I added the glyph that whenever your minions deal damage to an enemy, that enemy takes 1% increased damage from you and your minions up to 12%. It's just the best one I have found so far. This is some damage reduction. Damage reduction is mostly useful for your warriors. When you see that your skeleton warriors are starting to die, you probably want to worry about minion life and minion damage reduction. But mostly I put those points here because it needed extra points for the glyph to give you the bonus attribute. And then I started climbing my way up to the legendary node, Cult Leader. That increases, basically, if you're using all the minions that I mentioned, it should give you 45% damage increase for your minions. And I'll probably, I'm not sure where I'll go from here. I'll probably try to access the end of the board and go for the Blight board, probably from here, and proceed as a level up. So, my gear. I have been basically focusing on resistances, life, and total armor. Armor makes up for 50% of your resistances, so armor is very important, resistances are important, especially since the main goal of hardcore is stay alive. Basically, my helmet is focused on survivability. My armor, same thing. Resistances, armor, fortify generation. Oh yeah. Let me just go back to the skill tree. This node here, this is really good, especially because your reapers, they create corpses quite often. Right now, with this build, I can have 6 reapers. So they generate a lot of bodies. So fortify comes up really fast, and it also helps you stay alive. Here I have the imprint of 2 S3 skeletal warriors. Here I have the barrier imprint whenever you touch an elite. Those gloves, they're not essential for this build, they're just a quality of life. So basically, whenever I explode a corpse, the corpse gets up, finds a monster, and then blows up with the blight. So I can use corpses that are even outside of where the monsters are, and my corpse explosion is still effective. But this is not necessary. I played for most levels without this. Those pants, I really like them because they give 720 max life and a lot of damage reduction. Life regen while not damaged. It's not great, but you know, I couldn't let go from Alda's life. I also imprinted this armor imprint, which is honestly excellent. So while I'm attacking, my armor can go up to 6,000, especially because of my weapon. I do shadow and cold damage, so my armor gets really, really high. It's just amazing. Boots. Usually, ideal boots, they should have resistances and movement speed. Like, movement speed is so important for you to stay alive. I find that movement speed is so hard to get. I have only seen it on boots and amulet, and I have on both, and that has helped me so much. Escape from dangerous situations. Also speeds up, you know, the walking, especially because the horse is not great. So the imprint here is a really good imprint. Your skeletal mages, which I also have 6, they cast Blizzard, and Blizzard chills and also freezes the enemies, which goes with great synergy with this. This I got really lucky. It was the very first unique item I found, and it basically gets that your darkness skills chill enemies. Also, your darkness skills have up to 100% chance to generate 2 to 5 additional essence. So I actually don't have essence problems because the monsters, they're always chill, they're always frozen, and this procs quite often. So my essence is always high. This works pretty well. My amulet, I put 3 skeleton mages in there because more blizzard, more essence generation. This amulet is not like perfect, but it has shadow damage over time, which is great, movement speed, which is ideal, and also damage. My rings, I have some things that I like to have, like minion life. At some point I was running with 0% maximum minion life, and it just felt like my minions were dying all the time, and that's, you know, not good. Also, extra life and Shadow Blight imprint. Here, the same thing, minion life, fortified generation, which is good. Another, the second Shadow Blight imprint. My character has pretty great life. She has 4,300. Her resistances are pretty good. Fire, cold, lightning, poison, shadow. Ideally, I like to keep things above 50%, much as possible. And if I can get even higher than that, even better. That's it. That's what I have been doing so far. The only thing that you kinda absolutely need to make this build work as smoothly as I have been running it is this weapon. This weapon is just amazing. This also helps a lot. I don't think I'll ever unequip this gloves if I keep using Corpse Explosion. And yeah, thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed the build, and I hope you guys, you know, get to enjoy playing the Necromancer much as I am. Well, that's basically it. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe, you know, hit the bell button, and you know, I'll keep playing, and then as I modify my build and as I find new things, I can keep you guys updated. Have a good one. Bye.